listeners and viewers. Welcome back to Deducation, the Teacher's Talking Terror podcast, where Mike and
Courtney
are going to talk about another scary movie Courtney's not heard of nor seen, but now she has. We're here to talk about 2004's remake of Dawn of the Dead, the directorial debut of a Mr. Zack Snyder, who went on to have some pretty solid success with a lot of other movies. And a screenwritten by James Gunn, who also went on to have a ton of success with Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad, et cetera, et cetera. So early for these guys. But we are here to talk about this film. I know with you not having seen this remake prior, obviously you've not seen the original. 1978 was the original.
Yeah, no.
That movie, the original had much more social commentary, which we'll get into. This one is, again, just a slick, stylized version of that, and enjoyable, in my opinion, too. So, yeah, again, we talked about it a little bit last week because the only zombie movie that we've watched is Anna and the Apocalypse. And while this movie still has a lot of music in it, it's not a musical, so there weren't any song breaks. There wasn't time with these zombies.
No, so, there was not. No. I have to say, and I never thought that I would say this, but I think I like zombie movies.
Because they're good.
Never did I think that I would say that. People used to be like, "You should watch The Walking Dead," and I'm like, "No, that sounds dumb." And I don't know if that's like a zombie movie.
I think you're better off with zombie movies. Okay. The Walking Dead it's enjoyable.
Okay.
But it's also a show, so they really have to stretch it out.
Yeah.
And so Walking Dead, because Walking Dead's also based on a comic book.
Oh.
And the comic book is nuts. Like, I've read probably the first 120, 130 issues of it. It's really good, but what makes the comic book so great is, one, it's black and white, and two, because it's a narrative style, and you don't the writers could do anything they wanted, and because it was a zombie apocalypse, that means favorite characters just die, important people just die. There wasn't any. It wasn't all Hollywood yet, where it's like, well, we got to keep our main characters safe. And so, you find that a lot when things are based on books and such, because Game of Thrones was a lot like that, too. Game of Thrones was anybody and everybody could just die. But what happened in both series, unfortunately, Game of Thrones and, of course, more prevalent Walking Dead, is eventually they caught up to the source material. Mm-hmm. So then they had to come up with their own stories because they ran out of comics. Or they ran out of novels.
Yeah.
And now you've got Hollywood screenwriters, and the only thing they know is heroes win, bad guys lose, main characters live forever. Mm-hmm. And so it was really, really good the first couple of seasons, probably 2 or 3, Walking Dead. But then they got to a point where we're going to go off and do our own thing, and now suddenly everybody's safe.
Yeah, that's one thing that really kind of, I know I'm going off track, but about Grey's Anatomy, because it's Meredith about died 10 times, but it's right. She's not going to. This show is named after her.
Exactly. And so that's Walking Dead is good. I'm not going to dismiss it. My wife and I still watch it. But we both agree we're only watching it now just to finish it out.
Yeah.
Because we just want to see where it's going. Mm-hmm. But the main character of the entire thing is still alive.
Oh, wow.
And here we are 10, 11 years later.
Yeah.
He's still kicking. And so it just gets to a point where you don't feel the build-up anymore. Like horror content should be. There's no suspense anymore. Because these people are fine. Every shot they take will be a direct hit. They're never in harm's way. And even when they show them, oh my God, there's no way they survive that. Mm-hmm. They survive it, that kind of thing. And so zombie movies do offer a lot of that. of the, because the bad guy is not, he doesn't have an agenda, because the, zombies don't have a motive. There's no agenda. They just go.
And to eat.
And so with that, really it's like you really have to watch your back, because at any given time, one, they outnumber you.
Yeah.
And two, like I said, they don't get tired. They don't really even get hurt, and so zombie movies are a lot of fun. Again, if you're watching good zombie.
Yes.
And so I think this is good zombie. One of my favorite parts of this movie is the opening scene. We've got Anna, our main character, played by Sarah Polley, who is a very underrated actress. You don't see her in much anymore. She's a nurse, and she's apparently been working for 17 days straight, as nurses do. I said to my wife, who's also a nurse, I didn't realize, and of course this is all fictional, I didn't realize that doctors are the ones that tell you when you can go home. That doctors are the bosses at the hospital. Now I know doctors kind of are the bosses at the hospital because they're the money makers. But no, if the nurses, when your shift's up, you go home.
Yeah, right. Like you don't wait for the doctor to clear you.
Yeah, you could go. And so Anna's ready to go. Like she's worked like a 12-hour shift, 18-hour shift, whatever. She's ready to go home. Mm-hmm. And so she does. Well, and I don't know if you noticed it. I try to pay attention to stuff like this, especially if it's a movie I've seen more than once. There are so many indicators going on in this movie, in this opening scene. Like even when she's at the hospital, so many indicators as to what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't seen it, you're not aware of them because why would you be looking out for it? And so, she's ready to go. There's all these something's going on in the city.
Yeah.
It seems to be a very busy ER, but nobody in the ER it's just busy. Like there's nothing different. It's just more.
I even noticed when she turned the radio station, for a split second, it talked about a tragedy or something happening, and it's and she just very quickly turned it.
Right, because she's not aware of what's going on outside, and again, it hasn't yet spread everywhere.
Right.
And so that's how these zombie movie apocalypse kind of things kind of start. Is it's just exponential power of one person bites another one, and now two people bite two, so now you got four, and those four people each bite a person. Now you got 16, and et cetera, et cetera. It just all expands quickly from there. So she goes home and does what any nurse would do after a long, 12-hour shift. She just curls right up in bed in her scrubs, doesn't shower, doesn't change. She's covered in hospital stink, and there's my man. I'm going to curl up with him. It's a cult, kind of a cookie cutter house neighborhood. Mm-hmm. She's befriended the neighbor girl who can skate backwards now. It's just a very safe community. Yeah. They fornicate in the shower, which that's fine because luckily the window is misty in all the right places, so you don't see anything. And then they go to bed.
Yep.
And early the next morning, 6-ish, something like that, they're woken up by a noise, and the girl who's been skating is in their house. And the husband, Lewis.
Yeah.
Lewis gets up to check her out, and she steps into the light, and she's got some major facial issues.
Yeah, and the way she's just standing there, before she had stepped into the light, it was what is going on?
I know.
I mean,
I love it. It's just the use of shadows.
Yes.
And she reveals herself, and half of her lip is missing or whatever. Lewis naturally is oh my gosh, what's happened, and turns to Anna, and then she just chomps down and bites him on the neck.
Yeah.
Anna hops up, pushes her, throws her down the hallway. She then springs back to her feet like she's Spider-Man. comes charging. She shuts the door in her face because obviously she's got to tend to her husband, who she got his main artery. Like he bleeds out in no time. So she obviously grabs her phone, calls 911, and I love just Zack Snyder had it like for a debut directorial film, he knew what his style was going to be. Camera is it's got her in the foreground, but you see enough of the bedroom behind. And Lewis gets up.
Yeah. And
he's looking around. They make eye contact. He charges at her, and we see like, okay, they're zombies.
Yeah.
Because we saw him die. So he's all zombied out. She goes, and probably the most painful part of the movie, when she stumbles backwards into the bathtub shower.
Smashes her head off the wall. Yes.
So she's locked the little girl in the hallway. She's locked her husband out of the bathroom, and now she's only got like the little bathroom window to escape from.
Yeah.
Her husband for yet another movie that we cover where someone comes bashing their head through the door.
So I was just going to say, for like the third week in a row,
pretty close.
We have The Shining where Jack jumps through the door.
Last week it was the dog. And so her husband just barrels in. He breaks through, almost gets her. She stumbles out the front. She was smart enough to grab her keys before she jumped.
She was.
Yeah, so she's a very resourceful, I was going to say young lady, but this time she's older than I was, probably. Very resourceful woman, and hops in the car, and the fastening the camera to the car to watch her driving through the subdivision is just so genius.
Yeah.
Because this safe little community is a disaster area.
It has literally gone up in flames. Like, it looks like a war zone.
Right. People that are zombies are... And again, because it's so early in the morning, there's people that don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. So they're getting attacked in their front yards. As Anna's driving away, she makes it. Like, her husband's chasing her down the road.
Yeah.
And she's... Hey, I'm out of here. I don't blame her.
See you never.
Yeah. And so she flees. She does get in a car accident because I think she's looking behind her and misses somebody pulling out in front of her. She crashes like headfirst into a tree and passes out. And then we cut to credits, which is... Disturbs down with the sickness, but all sang like just a fun little kind of country-esque, almost like a Copacabana parlor type music, and it's just so much fun. She wakes up, and we meet our next main character. Who do we meet?
We meet the officer. What's his name?
Kenneth.
Kenneth. Yes, and she meets him on gun to the head, say something.
Yeah, and she did. What did she say?
She's like, please.
That's what it was. Please. I knew it was one word. I couldn't remember it, but yeah, he's got like a shotgun to her head, and that's what it's. Ving Rhames like, say something.
Yeah,
please.
So they head off. He's with. They meet this salesperson as they're walking along.
Yeah, because it's the two of them on foot, and then
some criminal.
They come across another trio. Mm-hmm. There's almost shootout between them.
Yeah,
but it's Michael, Andre, and Andre's wife, Luda.
Yeah,
Luda, and she's pregnant.
Yeah, very pregnant. Holy
lucky
cow!
Her. So already you're going to repopulate the planet. Mm-hmm. And they have an idea. They're going to go to the mall.
Yeah. That's a really good idea, too, because...
Great idea, yeah.
You've got everything you need. You got mattresses to sleep on, clothes.
Right. And the original Dawn of the Dead, 1978's version, of course, this was really when, shopping malls were beginning to hit their prime. Okay. All through the 80s. Obviously we still have malls, but there was a stretch where that's where you went.
Okay.
That's where you went. For everything. The mall has it all. And so there would just be this gargantuan structures, much like the Peoria Mall. And you would go and everything's there. Even Galesburg, where I grew up, I mean, the mall it was basically like built like a big plus sign, and you had JCPenney, Sears, Bergner's, and Kmart as your four ends. And there was a McDonald's there was a Dairy Queen, Orange Julius there. Everything you needed was at the mall. Yeah. Everything. And so it was a real social commentary back in the late 70s about, basically George Romero, the director of the original, I think he was trying to get out saying that, hey, even brainless people go to the mall. Like, that's basically what it is. It's like, it's just because that's where everybody went to shop. And when these malls come along like this, your little mom and pop boutiques and that would surround the squares in town. They couldn't handle it. They just shut down. Prior to that, it was like every town had what they needed. Somebody owned a store that sold shoes, and somebody owned a store that sold clothes. And but then malls came about, and you're like, well, we don't need those places.
Yeah.
When I could go to one place and get everything. And so they break into the mall. Luckily, they're armed, and they take out the zombie security guards that are left.
Yeah. And one of them, just kind of pre-looking ahead, scratched Luda.
Yeah.
As they went down.
Right.
And then we meet our next three living, viable people.
Right.
CJ, Bart, and Terry.
Yeah. So they're all like mall cops. Siri didn't hear you. But yeah, they're all mall cops. And our party's now up to 8, with these 3. And so these mall cops, though, they're like, hey, you can't come in.
Yeah, CJ was, I think he was the main one, kind of. He was like, no, I'll shoot you. Don't come. And the others were like, dude, he's a police officer.
Right.
Let him in.
We're just mall cops.
Yeah.
He's the real deal. And so they agreed to basically split up.
Yep.
CJ, Bart, and Terry stick together, and the other 5 stick together, and they're basically just going to clear out the mall. We got to secure this place because this is our refuge, and it's a genius idea. Yes, it really, really is.
It is
because it's a mall. It's got everything, just about, but enough. They make their way up to the roof just to kind of survey what's going on, and they notice across the parking lot is a gun store, and the survivor or the owner or whoever of the gun store he's on his roof.
Yeah, Andy.
But there's no way Andy's getting to the mall. I mean,
no.
This parking lot, and again, this all just started the night before.
Yeah, and you can't even. It's like a parade in Chicago. You can't even get through the road.
No, it is very sardine-like in this parking lot. And so what does a movie need? More survivors. Everybody's coming to the mall. Next day, everybody, they feel, I won't say safe, but they definitely feel more secure. More people show up in a delivery truck the next day. Of course, zombies are after them. There's a fun little action sequence of, basically... I won't say clearing the zombies, but covering these survivors as they make their way into the mall while they're being chased by zombies on foot. One thing that really made this movie stand out was old zombie movies, and when I say old, I'm even talking through the 80s and most of the 90s. Zombies just walked.
Yeah, these ones are fast.
Yeah, they didn't run. And this goes all the way back. That was one of those just general facts about zombies is they don't run. They just shuffle and they walk. And so that's one of the things that made this movie such an impact is it's one of the early ones. It's our zombies are going to run. And then it's oh, that's even worse. You almost think why didn't somebody think about that way back? But it's and that's kind of cool because you'll see different movies take liberties with certain things like vampires. Even though of course they're fake, they're still there's still like a set of rules that have to follow. And then Twilight shows up and they're like, we're going to bend those rules.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And that's why people don't like Twilight. Unless you like romance. Do you like Twilight?
No.
Okay. Yay.
No, and it's like the closest I've ever gotten to a vampire movie, so.
Well, we'll get you there soon. Because there's some excellent vampire movies out there. And so, yeah, we've got more survivors. CJ and Bart, they're the mall cops, of course. They're like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope, we're good. You know, even though they're kind of played off to be jerks.
I mean, I get it.
I do too. They're not wrong.
And like CJ said, like, you don't know who you're letting in. And it's like, yeah, you don't. Because, I mean, they could have been bitten and you have no clue.
Right. But Anna and Kenneth and Michael are they're the voice of reason. They're the nice people. Oh, we got to let them in, because it's basically us against them.
Yeah.
And them is the zombies, not the other survivors. So now we welcome Norma, Steve, Tucker, Monica, Glenn, Frank, Nicole. Like, it's
and some other lady wheeled in on a wheelbarrow.
Right. I think this takes place up in Milwaukee, if I remember correctly. I think that was mentioned somewhere in there. That this is like the Milwaukee area. But again, that's fine. There's plenty of people that are here. There's another lady that really at this point we're just bringing people in so that they have reasons to die. Because let's not kid ourselves. We've covered enough episodes to know that you're not going to have 13 survivors.
No.
There's another woman that she's too sick to walk, so they wheelbarrow her in.
I know that. I loved that. Like when I saw her being wheelbarrowed, I was like, what?
Well, again, it's like, but then you're thinking, okay, she can't walk, so then somebody had to go to the hardware store at the mall and get a wheelbarrow and bring it all the way back.
Yeah.
Guess what she's going to do? She's going to die.
Yeah. If she can't walk, sorry, but she's done.
Yeah. She's going to die. And she reanimates pretty quick. So they've got a zombie in the mall now, but they kill her. Like, she really doesn't even... she's really just there as a science experiment because nobody knows what's gone on yet, but they do know she was bitten.
Yeah.
That's why she can't walk. And then when she reanimates, that's when the group is like, oh, I bet this is happening through bites.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because zombies don't have to kill you. Right?
Right.
Zombies just have to bite you, or they have to, or scratch you, or something to get their germs into your system, and then that's what overtakes you. So
with zombies, like, is it like the worse that you're bitten, like the quicker you die, or turn into a zombie? Because I wondered that because later on in the movie, her scratch, she lasted so long.
Yeah. Realistically, it's a great question. Does the severity of your bite or scratch determine how fast you go? No, the plot does.
Okay.
This old lady was not needed.
Right.
For we're going to turn her quick. Some of our other characters, They'll survive a little longer because we're not ready to get to them yet. So that's a good question. But
I'm just like some of, you know what I mean though? Like some of them just went so fast.
Well, and some people don't come back. Like because if a zombie, if zombies eat you, then you're just dead.
Okay.
So it's almost like the less of, it's weird. It's like, I'm not sure, obviously, there's not like tried and true fictional science. But yeah, I don't know what the turning point is because zombies don't get to decide what's going to happen. Vampires are similar in that sometimes if a vampire bites you, he kills you. But sometimes a vampire bites you to turn you into a vampire. But that's up to the vampire. If the vampire wants you to be a vampire, then you're turned into a vampire. Okay. Otherwise, if he's just feeding on you for energy,
then you're just
dead.
Okay.
Yeah. So zombies, though, because zombies don't have a thought process. It's weird. It's almost like if you get away, you're going to turn.
Okay.
Because the goal isn't for them to let you get away. The goal is to just eat you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that it is kind of weird though, because when's the halfway point? Like, if a zombie were to gnaw my arm off and I get away, am I going to turn into a zombie? And that's the annoying thing, because we talked Walking Dead a little bit earlier. That happens quite a bit on The Walking Dead. Certain characters are like, we watched him get bit and he turned in like hours. And then another one's like, we watched him get bit, and then you just chopped his leg off, and now he's fine.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. It's not snake venom.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't just like freeze it up or something.
And so, So we got the lady who's dead, like the bigger zombified lady. Andre and Luna.
The way she died was kind of cool. Like, just like that, almost like fireplace kind of Turner thing, just straight through the head.
Oh, yeah, just the poker? Yeah.
Yes, poker.
So Andre and Luda have set up shop elsewhere. Again, Luda, very pregnant. And Andre doesn't want to take any chances with everybody else. So they kind of like take over like the Oshkosh Bagosh store, like the, the new parent expecting parent store. But see, Andre knows Luda's been scratched, and that's really the main reason why they stayed away, is to keep that scratch hidden from everybody else. Once they realize that like the zombie disease or virus or whatever, once they realize that all you have to do is be bitten, the group also realized that Frank, one of the newcomers, Frank's been bitten and is a threat. And so, Frank goes off to be isolated, and Kenneth kind of keeps an eye on him. And when he dies, he dies first, and then you turn into a zombie, and Kenneth shot him. Yeah. Because that's the right thing to do. Yep. Don't let the zombies get the upper hand. So we've got a lot of people around still. And Kenneth has befriended Andy.
Yeah, I love how they're playing chess. And
Andy being the gun store owner across the way. But yeah, it is fun because they're playing chess with whiteboards. And we also see Anna and Michael start a little relationship, as well as Nicole, who was Frank's daughter, and Terry, who was one of the mall cops. They really never say how long these people have been holed up in the mall. But Anna was married.
Yeah, and I mean, she's now widowed.
Yes. And is like, I want to tell myself they've been held up for quite a while.
Like months, hopefully.
I want to tell myself that, but I really don't believe it's been that long.
No, I'm thinking like 3 or 4 days.
Because Luna's still pregnant.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been months, because she's very far along anyway. So I'm thinking days. So Anna, your husband tried to kill you as he turned into a zombie. You survived, thankfully. And now you're like, here's Michael. You know what he's got going for him? He's not dead.
Exactly, and he's not trying to kill me.
Same with Nicole. Nicole's like, my dad just died.
Yeah.
I need the arms of a man.
And Terry swoops in and gives her the arms of a man.
Whatever. And so the power goes out. Okay. Which sucks.
Yeah, but I can't believe there's no generator.
Because it's a mall. Well,
like that instant kick on generator.
Right. So 4 of them go down to the parking garage to turn on the generator, which is smart. And this was kind of just a fun little like plot line, is they find a dog down there. And understandably so, they're like, wait a minute, like, if a dog got in here, then zombies can get in here.
Yeah.
And so naturally that's exactly what happens at that exact moment.
Yep. Zombie falls from the roof.
Yep. Which was kind of creepy, because it was like crawling along the pipes. So it drops down. Bart's a goner. But again, Bart doesn't like turn. Well, Bart takes himself out first.
Yeah.
Because they take Bart, they kill Bart. Everybody else then throws gasoline on top of the zombies and then sets them all on fire.
Yeah.
So now you've got like sprinting, flaming zombies.
Yeah.
Which seems more dangerous than a normal sprinting zombie. Like, even if he doesn't bite you, he's still going. He's on fire.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, back at Baby Gap,
Yeah.
Luda's tied up.
She's having a baby.
It's time, and she's turned.
Yeah, she like takes her last breath.
Right.
And I mean, Andre. I mean, she hadn't even delivered the baby.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, she was scratched.
Yes.
Okay. And I think what happened is, like, she just, I'm guessing because of the scratch making its way through the bloodstream, it turned the baby. And then the baby is what finished her off from the inside, which is why she died fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Like, she went all of this time with showing really no side effects of Big Scratch to suddenly being dead.
Yeah.
And then, so she's dead, comes back. Now she's all snapping and snarling at Andre because she's a zombie.
Yeah.
He was smart enough to tie her up.
Exactly.
And she gives birth to a zombie baby. Okay. Kind of cheesy.
But also, like, I mean...
It's fun.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's fun. And because everything happens in this movie exactly when it's supposed to, Norma comes in. One of the other ladies that serves no purpose other than just to be a victim later. Norma comes to check on him as Luda comes, as he comes to... as as Luda reanimates Norma, who comes in with a gun, she kills Luda.
Yeah, and Andre, he's like, "You kill my family, like you try and kill my." Yeah, I mean, he goes crazy.
Yeah, he's obviously a broken mind at this point, which is understandable because it's a zombie apocalypse, and that's your wife, and you see that, and she's going to go. And so, he kills Norma. Norma gets a shot off, kills Andre. Then everybody else comes running in because there's gunfire, and they find the zombie baby.
Yeah.
And they kill that baby immediately. Yeah. Even though it's fake, I'm still glad they didn't show it like they did it off screen because you're killing a baby.
Yeah.
And so apparently they feel as if the mall is running out of resources?
Yeah, like Kenneth had made that comment that he's like, listen, everyone's gonna die, and I'm tired of waiting here for my death.
Yeah. One of my favorite, we kind of skipped over a little bit when they were playing the chess. One of my favorite scenes of this is when they're killing celebrity zombie lookalikes.
Yes.
They're signaling to each other, and then they're finding them and plugging them. I just thought that was fun. It killed Jay Leno, and it was just a fun little scene there. And so you're right. So they just said, "Hey, this isn't going to work. We got to get out of here."
Yep.
So Steve, who is an absolute schmuck.
I can't stand him, and he is an actor on a TV show that I've started watching recently. And, they're just...
Ty Burrell.
So different in these two things. Like,
yeah. I like Ty Burrell as an actor, but you're right. Like, this role is like, oh, my God. I'm just over
he's
him.
So full of himself. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But he's rich. He's got money.
Yeah.
And so he's got a woman, and, of course, we see them in action on a couple of different occasions. But Steve, he's come along to being a team member now, really. Like, even though he's like snarky and kind of a jerk, he's still on board with the group. And he's like, "Hey, if we can make it to the marina, I've got a yacht, and we can sail out onto Lake Michigan and not have to worry about any of this anymore. So then we get a montage where, honestly, I would think this would also take them several weeks to prepare. But they find a couple of shuttle buses down in the garage and, like, restructure them to be vehicles of destruction. Like,
and I mean, they are. Like, they've got the plows, they've got the wire up top. They are, I mean, what I would want to be in a zombie apocalypse.
This mall truly sells everything.
They do.
Yeah. Do you need giant razor wire like you would find at a maximum security prison? We've got it. Aisle 7.
Come to this mall.
That's right. And so first they got to get Andy, though.
Mm-hmm.
And they have an idea because they've noticed that they have a theory that the zombies don't care about animals.
Yep.
So they've got a plan. We got to save Andy. So we're going to take that dog from the parking garage, Chips, as they've named him. We're going to strap supplies to him, and we're going to send him across the parking lot because this is the most obedient dog ever.
So good. Such a good dog.
And not a lick of fear. No. Like, hey, we're going to put you down on ground level to where the only thing you could see is wall-to-wall kneecaps. And you are going to be able to navigate your way through all of this to the exact location we want you to.
Just this little doggy door type thing. Like, just go right through it.
And it happens. Like, why this, again, why this guns and ammo store has a doggy door.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. Chips gets there. Andy opens the door. The dog comes in, and then a zombie follows in through the doggy door. Nicole, who has kind of taken a liking to Chips and is also an idiot, decides, not my dog, and takes one of the delivery trucks and just crashes into the gun store. Because if the 1 or 2 zombies that got in weren't enough,
exactly,
we're going to open a portal for them. Well, it's too late for Andy. She does get in there, though. Like, she gets in and keeps the zombies out, only to find out that Andy's now a zombie.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate because he's like, oh, man, they bit me good. Like, got a good bite, but I'll be fine.
That's right, because Chips took a radio.
Yeah.
And I'll be all right. And, of course, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what causes it or anything, which is kind of cool that it's like this whole time we're on, like, the forefront of it all. Like, we've seen this zombie thing unveiled to where they don't know what's causing it and things like that. It's very, very COVID-like. Minus the biting. So, so they decide we got to go rescue Nicole.
Yeah. Because
she's trapped by Andy. She's not a goner. So, Kenneth, Michael, Tucker, Terry, and CJ. Everybody knows these people by name. So they have an idea. Let's navigate the sewers to get over to the gun store. These people have an incredible knowledge of the underground workings of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, yes.
So they do make their way over there. They kill Andy. They rescue Nicole, and they do stock up on ammunition, which was smart.
Yeah.
Tucker doesn't make it. And if you were to say which one's Tucker, I don't know.
I don't either.
Tucker doesn't make it, so he gets shot. CJ, who's also come a long way.
He has to, yes.
Yeah, and so again, gives me the idea that it's been quite a bit of time, despite the fact Luda not getting any more pregnant.
Yeah.
So CJ takes him out, and so they get back inside, but they're not able to lock the doors before the mall is overridden. So we got to get out of here now. So they head to the buses, which, like you said, are very fortified.
Yeah.
I like the slot that Michael left of like, hey, we just grabbed this chainsaw and we could cut people in half.
Yeah.
And when he was showing Anna this, apparently it really aroused her because they christened that party bus.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So they're making their way through. And honestly, they get out there, and every zombie in the tri-state area is in this parking lot, barricading them in. And these are just shuttle buses for a mall. So these aren't like souped up tanks that actually have like horsepower behind them. So it doesn't take long for the buses to kind of come to a complete stop. Glenn's running the chainsaw. He loses control of it, cuts himself and Monica up. Who's Glenn and Monica? Doesn't matter.
I'm going to assume the older people, but I don't know. Yeah.
They were people that were just coming in to be dead. And so, let's see where we at here. Oh, yeah.
The bus crashes.
Yeah, because they got some blood splattered on there.
And so this is where CJ, Kenneth, and Terry are like looking for survivors. Right. Steve has now been attacked.
Yeah.
And he had told Anna earlier in the movie, like, if I get like that, shoot me. Shoot me in the head. And she's like
I'd too.
Gladly. Shoots him in the head. She's done.
Right.
But she is, again, resourceful, very smart, because she's digging in his pocket for I had no clue what. And then she gets on there and she's like, they're like, what were you doing? And she's like, had to get these, and holds up the boat keys.
Yeah, that's one thing Anna has always looked out for in this movie, making sure she gets the keys.
Yeah, she's always got an escape plan.
We've really seen the biggest character arc from CJ in this movie. They get to the marina, and it's a foot race at this point.
Yeah.
It is. We don't even know which yacht is Steve's yacht, and we are being chased by all these zombies. CJ decides, you guys go on. I'm going to hold up here and sacrifice myself. It's just a massive explosion.
Yeah.
Basically, he lets them all come on to him as he lights a flare and blows up a propane tank. Huge explosion. Everybody gets on the yacht. Michael's untying it, sends them on their way, and does not get on the boat. Why?
Yeah. He's been attacked. He got bit, and he shoots himself. Yeah. Yeah, not before, that was a very grisly-looking bite on his arm. And he acts like, oh, no, it's fine. It's okay. Yeah, like, I got bit. Like, just go ahead.
Like, I've reacted worse by stubbing my toe or getting a cut. And this guy's like, oh, he, shows it, and it's just so... I got bit. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll be okay.
You guys go ahead. I'll stay back.
So everybody's watching as he shoots himself in the head. So we've got the boat consisting of Anna and Kenneth, who, of course, have been there the whole time. Nicole, who shouldn't have survived but did. Terry, thankfully. So really we've got Anna and Kenneth, and then Nicole and Terry, which are that young couple that... And then their dog Chips.
Yeah.
So we've got, 2 loners and a fresh couple and a dog. And if you would have turned the movie off right here... Did you turn the movie off right here?
No, I did not.
Did you watch through some of the credits?
Yes, I did. And I was like, at first I was like, what the heck is going on now? I was like, are we starting another movie? Because it's some girl topless, dancing.
It's on a camcorder on Steve's boat. Yeah. See, I was worried that you were going to turn it off when the credits started and think that all ended well. It did not end well. They are cutting back and forth through the credits. It's very interesting how they did the credits. Yeah. Because they'll show some credits and then they'll cut to footage.
Yes.
Back to credits. So it's spliced in and out of finishing the movie. Steve's boat, they do make it to an island. Apparently an island in Lake Michigan. I wasn't aware there are any, but that's okay. And they make it to this island, and it almost looks like a tropical, jungle kind of island. But again, they're in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And they've run out of supplies, and they get to the island, and they're almost well, we made it, we're good. And then the zombies have made it to this island as well. So they get swarmed by the zombies, the camcorder drops, and now we just get straight credits. There's no... even though it's like, well, we don't know what happened to them. Yeah, we do. They're dead.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
They
It's
made it all this way.
Yeah. It's
all
four
this
of them
way.
and a dog. They're dead. So, and that is 2004's Dawn of the Dead remake. I really like this movie.
I did too.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
like I said, I think that I'm a zombie person.
All right. Well, I've got a lot of to share with you. So, let's open up our grade book and score this thing.
This is getting an A for me. It's got like the gore. It had some of those jump out parts. You didn't really sometimes expect people to die when they were going to die, so it was just kind of like, what? Yeah, I really like this one.
Good. I'm also going to give it an A. One thing this movie has for me that the original just does not quite have enough of is rewatchability. The first one is very good and very worthy of having a remake because a lot of people don't like remakes, and I can understand why. I'm one, though, that I respect a remake because I hope that by remaking a film, it exposes people to the original.
Yes.
I would hope that when 2004's Dawn of the Dead came out, people who had never even heard of the original would go find it for comparison's sake. I hope that's what happens. So I'm okay with remakes in that regard. Yeah. And so that's one of these. It's like this movie came out 26 years after the original. The original was it was a hit. Well, it was important. I don't know if it was a hit. I'll have to look that up. And so let me look up real quick. The original, the budget was $640,000 and it made $66 million. This one, the budget was $26 million and it made $102. So actually, the original was more successful in terms of profit. This one made more money back, but not like the percentage wise. Like, if someone told me, "Hey, give me $26 million and I'll get you $102," but if somebody said, "Give me $640,000, I'll get you $66 million," I'd take that one.
Yeah.
It would be easier to come up with $640,000 than it would the other. But the original is excellent. I don't want to take anything away from that. It's an absolute classic. And I just hope that more people, after watching this one, would go find the other one. So if you ever want, again, you think you're a zombie movie person, that's a zombie movie we could watch.
Okay.
So, is there really any educational lesson to take from this?
No. I don't know. Listen, I'm struggling with kids coming to school right now when they're sick.
Oh.
And, it spreads. I've had strep twice now. So, yeah, I guess maybe not educational, but, healthcare-wise, parents, if your kids have a temperature, if they're sick, if they puked the night before, don't send them to school because it spreads. Kids
better yet,
sneeze in my face on a daily, and I can't help it. Mask, no mask, I'm still going to get it.
Yeah, actually, parents, you're better off locking them into the room just to make sure they're not zombies.
Yeah.
Just word of caution.
Go ahead and do that.
I guess the educational lesson I'm going to spin from this is it is absolutely okay to be inspired by somebody else's work. But if you are going to use that work as inspiration, do what they did in this movie and modify it enough to make it to pay respect, but also to make it its own. And so there are a lot of horror remakes out there that try too hard to be the original, that they just fail. This one didn't do that. Zack Snyder's like, you know what? It's 2004. Our zombies are going to run. And in the original, they just didn't.
Yeah.
And it made a huge difference. It was a definite different feeling. They're also in the original nowhere near the amount of survivors, and nowhere near the amount of people. And I'm not going to ruin it, but in the original, the people that are holed up as the survivors, they know what's going on in the original because again, it's the sequel to Night of the Living Dead,
Mm-hmm.
so they're aware of what's happening.
Okay.
And it's like a news anchor and like a reporter and a helicopter. There's like, I think there's 4 or 5 of them that hold up in the mall, and the movie is a lot more about them becoming comfortable in the mall, and less about like fighting hordes of zombies, because they figure out we'll keep the zombies out. Like that's not too hard. But there's obviously it doesn't work that way forever. But it's such an excellent movie. So that would be mine. Is be inspired. It's totally okay to be inspired, but make it your own as well. So if you find something, you can spin it. It's okay. Take creative liberties with it. So, all right. Well, that wraps up another episode of Deducation. I'm glad you like this movie.
Yes.
I am. I'll pass that on to my wife because I know she'll be glad you like this movie too. Are we ready to have Ella back?
Yes. If she's ready to be back, I'm ready for her.
She's ready. She's ready. I said we were recording tonight. She goes, well, that means I'm on next week.
Ah!
I'm so nervous. I'm like, you're just fake. You're fake. So we will be back next week for our monthly installment of Ella at the Movies as we watch our little Scream Princess cover the sequel to her last show, Scream. We're covering Scream 2. We'll be watching Scream 2 for next week. A movie that you have not seen.
No,
a movie
but
that she does not see. But you like the original.
Yes, I did.
And so she's very excited to see it. She's actually really excited because she knows that I'm not going to spoil it. So
yeah, I wonder if they'll shut the doors in this one.
Better. We'll have to keep an eye on it. This one, of course, Sydney Prescott was in high school. In the other one, she is no longer a high school student.
Okay.
She has moved on to college.
Okay.
So Sydney is a college girl now. So that is where our movie takes place. Is at Sydney's prestigious university. It's a fun one. I don't mind Scream 2. I don't mind it at all. And so, yeah, we will be back next week for Scream 2. We'll have Ella back as a special guest. Social media-wise, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links are below. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, share. Do that. Just share. Tell people about it. If you're having a good time listening to the show, tell people about it. And I know people are listening because, especially on YouTube, because I update and hop on or whatever, we tend to go. Critters had 34 listeners or viewers. Thinner had 1. Child's Play 2 weeks ago, 42. Madhouse, 6. So apparently people like something that's a little more known. Thriller or Thinner was not. Madhouse was not. Prom Night, probably not. Stir of Echoes with 9. Drag Me to Hell with 3. But Megan had 28.
Yeah.
Pet Sematary, 27. Somehow The Possession of Hannah Grace had 13. Maybe that's a movie more people know about that I just didn't. Because It Follows only had 4. Like, that was good. Malignant 4. The Creep back-to-back, that had 24 combined. So, yeah, check the back catalog, guys, because we've got other stuff out there. We're recording episode 33 right now, so we got 32 other episodes for you to go back and enjoy. Boost those numbers.
Yeah.
So Facebook or YouTube's algorithm decides, hey, let's put ads on and ruin everybody's experience. So, but no, we will be back next week for Scream 2. Courtney, either you want to share with anybody before we sign out?
Just the usual. Have a great week.
Yep, it's almost May.
It is.
We got a week left in April, and I think a month to the day we're out of school, right?
Yeah, and it's today the 23rd. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I'm off this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday traveling, so it's like I have less than 20 days left.
Yeah, you do. Well, and then it's like it goes so fast too because it's spring sports season, mm-hmm. So baseball, softball, track kids are gone all the time. It's field trip season. People are still wrapping up assessment. End of the year assessment. It's like it's just going to fly by.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm ready for summer. So, All right, well, listeners and viewers, thanks for spending some time with us, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.